hear me out. There's a new show out there called 90 Days Last Resort. So as we all know, Ed is...
Shucks, this is cool.
A character, right? He is a character in of itself. I wouldn't call him the best person around. That's my personal opinion, though. I just don't think it's all there, man. Like, I really think that the way that he treats Liz in most scenarios, and I mean, even Rose back in the day, was questionable, very questionable behavior. I have seen my fair share of those type of relationships, and my God, it's not good, man. It is not a good look ever. And the way we see him treat Rose back in the day, and even Liz, was very, very bad. You could see a lot of emotional abuse right next to mental. We did get to see a little bit of that build up during those altercations that they had over the phone. That was really nasty, really nasty. I do want to discuss those at some point.
I don't give a f***, Liz. You're f***ed up.
How am I f***ed up? Are you going to listen to me, or are you going to take over this whole...
But I do want to kind of bring up the old clips of Big Ed and where it started. Honestly, in my personal opinion, if they keep trying, it's like beating a dead horse. I honestly don't think... I do not think that it is one of those things that they should keep going for. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, you know? It's not my relationship in any sort of way. I wouldn't treat my woman in this way, but I can see that this just isn't going in a good direction, you know? The way that he'll do a 180 during arguments and kind of twist it around during the whole yelling matches they have is kind of gross. It's honestly kind of gross. The gaslighting is crazy. So you'll just see him come back and do a full 180 when it's like entirely his fault. Honestly, they're both really toxic, but you know, I guess toxic loves toxic, right? Like, it's one of those things. I know I always joke around about like, oh, swole goth mommy or something, right? And it's one of those things that you joke about, but you know, I wouldn't want anyone to actually be toxic to me. It wouldn't be something that I seek out. I don't know, man. I guess it's the upbringing that Liz has that keeps making her come back and run after Ed. It's bad, man. It's real bad. You can see it constantly when she keeps saying that she's just not in it anymore. She's gonna give up, and like, this is his last chance, right? And I don't know how many last chances there's been. I swear I've counted at least 6 in the past few seasons. It's not good. It's not good, man. Like, if you say you're gonna do something, I feel like you should stick to those guns, right? It's a normal response, I guess, where someone kind of calls you out on something and then you switch it up and do the right thing. Although in this case, Ed switches up for, I don't know, a few days, maybe a few hours at most, and then he kind of goes back to those behaviors and just goes back to old habits, you know? I see it as being a very narcissistic trait that's in him. It's one of those things where I guess it's ingrained in him, but there's those moments in life where you kind of learn, you get a little wake-up call, right? Every now and then. When you go out in the real world, someone checks you. There's bound to be someone check you. I feel like Ed's never had that. I feel like there hasn't been a person that's actually checked Ed. I know there's been ongoing drama online or things that people have been talking about where Ed wants to be part of like creator clash or wants to fight someone, right? Even if he got beat, I swear that wouldn't check Ed where he should be. But I would love, personally, I would love to see that fight go down. I feel like he's unstoppable, man. The neck, you know, he's got that Mike Tyson young neck. I feel like he's unstoppable. I don't know if he could get knocked out. All right, so Big Ed and Liz actually arrive to the vacation home, right? Or the villa, whatever it is that they're actually at, a vacation place. It's not one of those things where I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the relationships that I think it's better to call it quits the way it's going. I'm pretty sure they're like on their 8th attempt at this whole thing. I honestly don't think it should keep going. I mean, fair enough for them for trying, you know, it's, yeah.
Is the ocean heated?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just asking for a friend. How you doing?
Of course, Big Ed walks in. Little snarky jokes starting off. The ocean heated. All right, man. I guess like it's one of the banter things you can do when you first go in. But like I used to work at this place, right? A sandwich place, Jersey Mike's, right? Used to work there. So everybody knows that there's like a certain way that they have their whole sandwiches, right? Mike's way. The amount of times I got while working there, oh, I don't want it Mike's way. I want it my way. If you do that, you're a dickhead. Just know this. You're a dickhead. Everyone has said this goddamn line. We've heard that joke thousands of times. And every time I gotta be like, ha 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 ha, right? Probably something they hear constantly. One of the jokes that just, I don't know. It's one of those things.
I'm Ed. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm 57 years old, and this is my beautiful fiance, Liz, who is a ripe old 30.
The age difference in Ed and Liz, I guess it could work for some. I mean, people have that age difference, but I feel like once you have a certain age difference in between each other, there's like, yeah, your culture, I guess. I don't think culture is the right word, but is in a completely different headspace and area than someone that's in their 30s, right? Like even someone that's 2 years apart, right? Like you still have your differences. It isn't crazy once, I think like maybe max 5. Max 5 is where you have pretty closely related things. After that, it's like you're hitting a different ballpark, right? Like I would have this conversation with old coworkers back in the day, and I would always call them like old men, even though I'm not that old, or they wouldn't be that much older than me. It'd be like 2 years older. And I would always joke with them, calling them old men when they were 2 years older than me, because they would talk about different things that I had never heard of or hadn't discussed, hadn't been through, I guess. You know, I would talk about the culture online and things that are going on and different trends and stuff, and they wouldn't know what I was talking about. So I would always say like, wow, I can't believe we're so different, even though we're only 2 years apart, right? It's literally sophomore to senior, right? It's not a crazy difference. It's just that you get different experiences from different ages, I guess. And the age difference in between them is chunky. It is chunky, man. It is a difference, but everybody has their thing, I guess.
So right now, Liz and I are still engaged, but we have a barrel full of issues that we have to overcome.
A barrel full of issues is an understatement. First of all, I mean, I can't name them all off the dome real quick, but there's the gaslighting, right? There's the emotional abuse, which I guess it would just be gaslighting. There's like the whole factor of narcissism that goes in their thing. There's a toxicity factor in the yelling that they both kind of do. There is a very, very, very vast amount of issues that they have to fix. The problem here being neither of them kind of put a foot forward to actually fix it, right? It's kind of like you say it, but words don't mean anything unless the actions actually back it up. And in this case, the actions aren't backing it up in any sense. I don't know how many times they said that they're going to improve things and nothing happens, right? It's the amount of times that Ed's like, oh, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and then proceeds to do it again. It just shows that it's not going to change, man. Like, if the same pattern happens over and over and over again, it's gonna keep happening, right? Like, what's that one saying? I know it from Far Cry, but I know it's not from Far Cry, where it's like insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? I think it was like Taz or something, right? I don't remember. Far Cry 3, that's where I know it from. But yeah, it's one of those things where they expect different results, but it's just not gonna happen.
Other than that, everything's perfect.
Everything's perfect. No, it's not.
I'm so excited to finally be here.
Me too.
Yeah. Tell you piss me off, but how long do you think that'll be?
30 minutes. How long does it take to get to the bar?
See, I know that that's a joke. I know that that was a joke right there. He's like, haha, how long is it gonna take you to make me mad? 30 minutes. It's not a joke though, is it? Like they get in fights really, really, really quick. Them pissing each other off that fast or not being able to be in each other's company for that long is crazy, because a relationship in of itself is literally you spending time more time with that person than anyone else because you enjoy their company. You want to be around them, right? Personally, I can't think or comprehend the fact that someone would want to spend or not spend their time with someone that they supposedly, you know, the ring, they said they're gonna be engaged or are engaged in this, I think, right? They're fiancés, right? Engaged? Yeah, whatever. They dedicate themselves to spend the rest of their life together, right? It's the marriage thing. And yet they can't spend longer than 30 minutes together without starting an argument. And I know in the previous seasons there was something about them sleeping in different places, right? It was like they have their own apartment and houses and stuff because they can't stand each other for that long, more than like a day or two. That is insane to me. That is crazy.
This is a make or break it for us.
Our relationship is just full of extremes, good and bad.
Good and bad extremes. I agree with Liz on that one. That is definitely the case here. It is definitely an extreme if you start a yelling match with someone, you know?
So at the tell-all, I got busted for lying about texting Rose.
Oh my God, I forgot about the tell-all. I forgot about that. That is extremely embarrassing, man. If you go to the current girl, right? Like let's put a scenario out there, right? You're with your woman, you're with your girl or man, your significant other, right? You're with them and you're saying how they're your world to you, right? You're not showing them because, you know, why would I show my significant other love, right? You're not showing them that you love them, whatever. You're with them and they are very insistent that you have been in contact with your ex. You're like,
absolutely not. I would never be in contact with my ex. That person is far gone from me.
Meanwhile, you're on the phone like,
oh, baby girl, I miss you. Baby girl, watch out. The mosquitoes, you know.
You're on there and you're texting your ex while your significant other is giving their all to this relationship. I feel like that's such a backhanded thing to do, you know? It's one of those things that, why are you in the relationship in the first place if you're gonna do that? Why can't people just leave the one that they're currently in to not hurt the person they're there with so they can leave and then enjoy a new one if they want to go to the new person? But I guess it's that feeling that you want to have a hold on someone. You want to keep that person there because you don't want the potential loneliness or that feeling of security gone from you. And I feel like that's where Ed is, where they can't get rid of each other because Ed loves the attention. First of all, he loves all the love he gets from the person, and so he knows that it's not going to leave, and Liz can't go without that affection or that attention that she so much craves. And it creates a toxic environment where they're both trying to take, and I mean, one gives more than takes and one takes more than gives. That whole situation where he was texting Rose while still, well, trying to get a second chance with Rose while being with Liz is embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
We didn't communicate for 2 weeks, but I recently had shoulder surgery and you can't move. You're completely immobile. And we reconnected and she was able to be there, you know, to really take care of me.
I don't like that that's the reason why they got back together. The only reason they got back is because Ed needed her because he had a shoulder surgery. I don't like that. I really don't like that. It's kind of nasty to me. Again, the codependency, right? The codependency is there. She needs him because she wants affection, and I guess she feels like she doesn't deserve it. Liz is an extremely pretty person. I feel like she could get someone way better than, you know, Monkey Ball. Monkey Ball over there. It sucks, but it is what it is. We're just in the audience of this circus that's going on, you know? And it's really sad because the thing that brought them back together was the need for someone to take care of him, and she came back again. What was the last thing? The dog?
We know we love each other. That's a given. So we kind of started all over again.
I don't like that line either. We know we love each other, and that's a given. Love should always be shown. As much as it's given, never take for granted that someone knows that you love them. I think that's the wording I'm trying to get there. Never give up or not let someone know that you love them or you care for them when you could. You know, life's too short and you never know what's gonna happen in the end of the day. I feel like you should always tell someone if you adore them, you know, or if they're your love, you actually care for them, you should let them know with affection, with actual actions.
That's probably the best part of our fights.
Is the makeup sex.
Is the makeup sex.
Yeah.
She calls me daddy. Oh, daddy.
You're such a...
God, I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to imagine Ed going into sexy time, man. I feel like it's tough. I feel like there's not a lot of motion and there's not a lot of things going on when they're having sexy times. Unless Ed getting all these women that he gets, or the ones that he does get on the show, unless he's absolutely packing, you know, some crazy out of the ordinary thing, I feel like there's not a lot going on in the bedroom. But it's just my 2 cents, you know. Everybody has their thing that gets them going. I just don't prefer Fat Gum from My Hero Academia being mine, but you know, Fat Gum's pretty cool, man. He's pretty neat.
We're moving to a big house in Arkansas. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Moving in general is stressful, but moving halfway across the country together into a new house, it's going to be, you know, challenging.
Last ditch effort. It's not gonna be last ditch. I don't know how many times they said it's the last ditch. There has to be some crazy event happening at the end for it to actually be like an ending. I feel like one of them really has to move on for it to happen. If the option is always there, you know, it's like you can't make a move unless you burn that bridge, and I feel like that bridge is made out of steel right now. They have backed it up, reinforced it, they put barriers on it. I think that whole thing that they got is gonna be a struggle to break. It's a very codependent relationship right now. I know personally, I know some people like that in real life where they have a very codependent relationship that is extremely toxic and they should not be in it. But at the end of the day, they choose to be in it. You can't tell them not to. The most you can do is give them their word, and most of the time, you know, people will see things in rose-colored glasses. I think that's the saying, right? English is my second language, I'm sorry. They're just gonna see what they want to see until something actually wakes them up from it. So it is what it is. Again, we'll see how it actually works out.
I chose Arkansas because when I'm around Ed's family in Arkansas, he is the best version of himself, and it brings out the best version of me. And we have the biggest support from all his family members out there.
A little take on that, right? If the only time that you actually enjoy each other is when you are both the best versions of yourselves, that being in the best environment, in the best scenarios, I don't think it is a golden thing to be proud of, or like an actual good scenario. Having trouble or like actual hardship in a relationship is kind of what dictates how the relationship goes, right? If you're struggling and your partner's not there for you, or you're in a low and they're not there for you, it kind of shows the true colors and shows that maybe they're not supposed to be there, right? Like the whole thing, even the marriage pact is, I'll be with you in the, you know, low ships or whatever it is. I butchered that. I have no idea what it actually says. And through the highs, through sickness and health, all those things. And so if someone's not actually there for you in like both ways, right? It's a two-way street, not just one person is dictating who should be there when and all this stuff. That shows the relationship's kind of fickle and probably isn't one that'll last a long time.
We basically have 2 weeks to get our together.
Well, I'm stressed. We have so much bull we need to fix and work through.
What can we do differently so I don't screw it up?
They have definitely a lot of things to work through, man. There is a lot to work through, but let's see what you see. The little slip up that he had, though. You see the little slip up where he's like, what do I have to work through? Always bringing every single issue that they have as we. When there's a problem, it's we. It's not I, it's we. And that is one of the downfalls, I think, of this little relationship that they have, is whenever it's a problem, it's us or you. It's never I. It is never me, right? That's how Ed sees things. Oh, well, we, or you, yeah, you do this, you do this. Oh, well, we will get better. We will do this instead. And it ends up being an issue because he can't take responsibility for himself or his actions.
Big picture, I need you to behave. I need you to stop talking to girls or flirting.
Man, I feel so bad right there. I feel really bad. If you're in a relationship and you can't stop flirting or, you know, showing other girls that aren't girls or guys, I guess, for anybody in a relationship, and you can't stop showing other people love besides just your partner, and your partner feels bad about all the love you're showing other people because you're constantly flirting with others and it's not like friendly jokes, they feel bad that they have to call you out on not to talk to anyone else, man. That sucks. That definitely sucks. That shouldn't be a relationship. In the first place, this relationship shouldn't be happening, man.
Ed reaching out to his ex or being on a dating profile. Yeah, I'm scared Ed will cheat on me.
Dating profile is wild. Second of all, Ed did cheat on his first wife, right? I do have that fact right. Ed cheated on his first wife. And, I mean, he did it once. He's done it like 2 times now, I think, where he's tried to with Rose. She just doesn't give him the light of day. I feel like it's not if, it's when at this point. When is he gonna cheat on you? And she's still there for it, man. That's why I can't feel that bad for her, because she's keeps coming back. If she, like, it was the first or second time, maybe, like the whole saying, you know, maybe do some J. Cole lyrics in there, where it's the Bush in No Role Models, right? it's George W. in the No Role Models, where it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again, right? So that whole scenario, fool me once, yeah, sure, whatever. Maybe if you really want to get back with that person, maybe give it another shot. But fool me twice, man. You should learn your lesson after the first one. You don't want to get burned twice, right?
I'm just so used to him finding a way to push me aside that
I can sense that you don't trust me.
She doesn't. She's stated she doesn't trust you. The trust isn't there. That is the #1 thing in relationships too, besides like communication and actual listening, is trust. Trust is huge on it. If you don't trust someone, that relationship's dead. It's dead already, man. It's not gonna come back. Trust is a thing that is earned, and once it's gone, it's gone.
And that you think that's gonna happen. I can just feel that. Like, and I want that to go away. Like, I want you to feel in your heart that you can trust me.
Like I said, man, once trust is gone, it's gone. It's not something it can be earned back. Maybe for some, it really is one of those things where you can try to work on it. I feel like that's a super rare case, like maybe 2% out of any relationship, where if the trust is gone and it's already been gone, it's time to call the relationship quits, because it's really tough to get over that whole thing. Maybe some people with therapy and actual, you know, working through it, and they're actually healthy and it was maybe just a mistake in one form. Personally, I don't think it's possible. I feel like once the trust leaves, it's pretty hard to get that back. It's time to call it quits on it.
We have issues.
yes, but I'm very emotionally invested into you, clearly.
Very clearly, yeah. I mean, she is very invested in Ed. That's the reason why we have, what is this, like the 3rd or 4th season we've seen them now? I feel like that's why we had that. I mean, 3 seasons, three or 2, right, with Liz now? I think it's 3 with Liz, and then Big Ed has like 5. That's the reason we keep seeing it, because she's so emotionally invested in this whole relationship that, honestly, I don't know if Big Ed is. I feel like he just has it because it's easy right now. Like, it's the easiest resort to go back to. And because it's the easiest thing and he knows that it's there, it's always guaranteed because Liz isn't going to give it up. He has that safe haven where he can kind of explore, do other things, and then kind of be like, well, I was sorry for whatever I did like a week ago. Okay, take me back. And she's there. And because she's so emotionally invested, and I feel like she just doesn't have that that confidence in herself to be like, you know what? Not anymore. Not Ed anymore. Because in the first place, I'm pretty sure the whole story was that Ed asked everyone out in that restaurant back in the day before he asked out Liz. And he had gotten rejected multiple times before she actually said yes. I mean, she wasn't even the first choice there. So how good must that make her feel, you know?
You have to understand things that I need. I need more emotional support from you. I need your whole heart in it. I need you to be committed. Like, it's easy to walk away if I don't feel like your whole heart's invested into it.
She says it's easy to walk away, but we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that one bit of that actual walking away, showing us that she's done with Ed. She said it multiple times. She said it. They've had a whole huge falling out like 3 times too. They've been engaged like 3 times also. And it's just not apparent that she's gonna walk away. I feel like the toxicity is there, and that's what's keeping it alive.
We keep saying it's our last breakup. We keep saying,
Yeah.
I'm not going back to her. I'm not going back to him. And we keep doing it.
Yeah. Very sad. Very sad. Entertaining as it is, I do wish at least Liz the best in this scenario. Ed just seems like that person that it's ingrained in him at this point, you know? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I feel like Ed has gone through most of his life acting like a teenager. And he hasn't grown from it. Like I said in the beginning, no one's checked Ed before. No one has actually checked him. I know that there's been like little instances of him calling another star in the show and the tell-all, like some words, right? Some strong words. And they did not like that one bit. But they didn't check Ed. They didn't check him. And immediately Ed started backpedaling because he doesn't want any confrontation or blah, blah, blah. And I feel like at some point, someone's going to check him and it's going to be a wake-up call, but not yet.
We're at a point where we need to figure out if we're going to have a future together or just officially part our ways.
Part your ways. Part your ways.
So if we don't walk out of this together, it makes it easier to say goodbye if I don't move with him.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be hard to actually get this to work. I'm not sure how it's going to end up being. I feel like they're going to immediately start fighting as soon as this whole little section is. That's where we're going to keep it for now, though. Hopefully we discuss what else happens in the whole tell-all. I don't know if I'm going to keep clips of everybody else unless it involves Big Ed and Liz. I'm not super familiar with the other couples, but if we do get some traction on this one, I might start covering some of the other couples, like their starting journeys, because I haven't watched a lot of the other ones. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll cover a little bit more of Ed and Liz in the next one. Hopefully we see a little bit more development in their relationship. Hopefully it's good development, but we'll see how it actually ends up going. Again, thank you guys. Please subscribe, like, and yeah, thank you. Peace.